A 4-year deal expected to be about $17 million per year, with about $54 million guaranteed. If JPP gets that $54 million, he'll become the 5th highest paid defensive player in the NFL, in the highest paid defensive end. Max, your squad. Did the Giants overpay for Jason Pierre-Paul?
Maybe by a little bit. I mean, listen, the franchise tag was steep for them. It was going to be like a $17 million hit. That's in one season. This works out over 4 seasons, obviously, to be less than 17 guaranteed. So it reduces the cap hit in that respect. But that is a ton of money to pay for a player who's lost half a hand and is less effective. He's maybe 80 or 75% what he once was. That said, he is still an excellent defensive player, and it gives you some idea of how good he was when before the fireworks accident. He was an absolute difference maker on defense. This also indicates, incidentally, the importance the Giants place on defense. When they rebuilt the team last year through free agency, they did it on the defensive side of the ball, and even this year, they still haven't addressed the offensive line. They're spending their money on defense.
Here's the deal. Jason Pierre-Paul, the one-handed bandit that he is right now.
Stephen A.
It's the truth. What do you want me to say? It is the truth. I mean,
all right, 1 3/4.
Is this not first take? Is it the truth? Did I lie? You understand? Does he have 2 hands? No. The fact of the matter is that something's missing. Now, having said all of that, still didn't stop him from being second on the team in sacks with 7. Still didn't have him getting 35 tackles and 18 assists. Still didn't prevent him from being formidable on that defensive line. And we know what the Giants need. They returned to the playoffs this year. They were formidable this year because their defense showed up. And it wasn't just an improved secondary. It was the fact that you had a couple of dudes who could get at the passer. It was him and Olivier Vernon. So the fact of the matter is that when you look at it from that perspective, you had to keep him in tow. Plus, it's a good look to show that you took care of your own. Plus, it didn't prevent you from getting Brandon Marshall, and it shouldn't prevent you from improving that offensive line. With that being the reality, I have no problem with the money that he's gotten.
Well, going forward, there's obviously less cap flexibility. And they didn't have a lot of money to spend even in free agency now, which is why they took a flyer on Fluker, because he came cheap and he was a high first-round pick and he didn't quite pan out. But now that's what they're faced with on the offensive line, Stephen A., which needs an immediate fix. They have no money to spend. So they have to look at guys like Clady, who can't stay on the field but maybe can help now, or spending more of their high-round picks on the O-line. And Jerry Reese keeps missing there with high picks, certainly with Flowers so far. It just shows you the emphasis they put on defense. It's like in the DNA of the franchise.
Did he miss? And I'm asking a question here. Did he miss with Flowers, or did he does he have him out of position? I mean, from everything that I've been told, Flowers needs to be playing on the right side instead of the left. That's what I'm hearing about him. So
agreed, but that means he missed.
Having him on the roster doesn't mean you missed. You know what I'm saying?
No, it does, because
if
you draft a guy 9th overall or high in the first round, or even take an offensive tackle in the first round, and he winds up on the right side, you missed. I mean, that's one of the reasons I think he was kept on the left side this year, because Reese felt, I'm not hearing this, I'm just telling you my own analysis. If you're the GM and you miss the playoffs and you spend a first-round pick on a guy who's not developing on the left side, you move him to the right side, you might think that's your job. So you keep him on the left side, hope you make the playoffs, and it saves your job. I mean, that's not an unreasonable conclusion.
No, I disagree with that, because if you're going for the playoffs and you feel that there's an emergency level where you have to do something, whether it be because of injuries, being bereft of bodies, et cetera, then you make the adjustments, because you know this guy is long-term, and you can make adjustments in the offseason so you can better utilize him in the future. I don't view that as a bust if that is indeed your intent.
If you have a right tackle that you took like 9th overall, that's a miss, let alone a guard on the right side.
All right.
I'm certainly with you, Max. They need to build up that O-line, of course. They need to get a running back, but you certainly need pass rushers as well, and they have that now with JPP. I also want you guys to know that, Stephen A., you had mentioned you'd like Geno Smith to potentially play for the Giants. They are expected to sign him, and I know you said that